Hey there! So tonight's video is a request, which I'm very happy to do requests. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. It was requested that I do a video where I'm talking about the pros and cons of America versus Thailand. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll start off first of all saying that I'm from North Carolina in the United States, and life growing up in North Carolina is very different than other states that I've lived in. Yeah, growing up in the South is just, it's like its own little world. So, in the South, it's, how do I put it? It's a different way of life than a lot of the places that I've lived. Because I have kind of lived sort of all over, not really, but I've lived in Ohio, I've lived in South Carolina, I've lived in Colorado, I've lived in California. So I've had a taste of, a few different places in the States, and being in the South is just I don't know, it's different. But I loved it. I really did. I loved being in the South, and I'm very proud to be from North Carolina. I mean, it's not the greatest state in the whole world by any means, but I'm not sure which state would be the greatest. But yeah, things in North Carolina were just, kind of laid back in some respects, but not in others. And so even when I left North Carolina and moved around to other states, it was always an adjustment because things would be so different. I mean, even something as simple as this, like being from North Carolina, we love our sweet iced tea, which is something that I like to make. Even, living here in Thailand, I like to make my sweet iced tea because I love it. I did take a sip out, but I mentioned this in, maybe it was my last video I did, I'm not sure, that most Southerners, maybe not all of them, but most Southerners, we like a little drink with our ice, basically. So it's like if we have a glass of iced tea, we want that ice all the way to the top, okay? It needs to be full to the top. Then you put your drink in. So that's the way I've got mine right now. Like I said, I did take a sip of this before I started the video, but you're not going to find this everywhere. It's like some places you go to, if you order something to drink, they'll throw in like 3 or 4 cubes of ice, and it's like, okay, what is that? What is that supposed to be? And I've heard, I've never been to England, but I've heard in England that they think you're strange if you want ice in your drinks. That they really will just put like a couple of little cubes in there and that's it, So I think it just depends on where you live, but so it's always an adjustment no matter where you live. If you're used to, things a certain way. So needless to say, when I moved to Thailand, you talk about adjustments. Wow. It was a culture shock, big time. It was a, I mean, when they say it's a culture shock when you go to another country, that is very real. It is very real. So I was kind of shocked and surprised when I first got here. And it didn't, I wouldn't say it took me a long time to get used to it, but I mean, it did take a little while for for me to really get used to the culture and how different everything is. Because basically, day one, as soon as I arrived in Thailand, I was so excited. I mean, I really was. I was really excited about it. And I was very surprised, though, because I moved here from Colorado, and it was just starting to get, it was like late fall going into winter time in Colorado. And then when I arrived here and I walked out of the airport, I mean, I was hit with a huge wave of heat. It was unbelievable heat. And I'm somebody who actually prefers heat over cold. I don't like cold weather. I think it's beautiful, you know, if it snows and everything, it's beautiful. But I don't like to be cold. I've always been a summertime kind of person. Spring and summer, you know, are kind of my months. So I was actually looking forward to the fact that, you know, Thailand is a tropical country. And so it's hot all year round here. So I was really happy about that, but I was kind of overwhelmed at just how hot it was, especially after coming from such a cold climate. But, so one of the first things that was shocking was when I got into the car that was taking me to where I was going once I got here. I didn't know that the speedometer in cars here are looked at in kilometers, not miles per hour. So I'm sitting in the back seat, and I feel like we're absolutely flying down this like freeway. I was really scared because I'm like, oh my God, you're going so fast. And I looked up and I was like trying to look at the speedometer, and it said 120, and I was like, oh my God, we're going 120 miles per hour. I didn't know it was kilometers, so I don't know what that equates to. I think it's only like 80 miles per hour or something, you know. It was still a lot, but, you know, it seemed like we were going really fast. But anyway, that was a shock. And then whenever I got to my destination, the little place that I was staying in was just this little room. And it didn't have a bathroom or sink or anything. I mean, it was literally just this little teeny tiny room that was about the size of a closet, and it was just this horrendous little place. But when I went to find out, like, you know, where's the toilet, you know, the bathroom, I was shown where this place is, you know, and it's like, it was this little building outside. And I walked in, and there was just this little, like, porcelain thing that was, like, on the ground. It was, like, kind of like a hole in the ground with this little porcelain thing around it. And then there was, like, a kitchen sprayer on the wall, and a big trash can that was, like, full of water with a little pail inside. And I wasn't really sure. I was like, what is this? Now I know that it's called a squat toilet, which is a typical toilet here in Thailand. I mean, it's like, that's what most Thai homes have, are these squat toilets. And so it wasn't like a regular toilet that I was used to, and I wasn't really sure. And I'm like looking around, I don't see toilet paper, and it turns out that that little sprayer on the wall, that little kitchen sprayer, that's what you use instead of toilet paper. And the big trash can that was full of water with the little pail, that's so you can scoop the water out, and that's how you flush your toilet, is with this pail of water. So I was like, okay. And then they told me the shower was somewhere else, and there wasn't hot water, so there's no hot water shower or anything out there. And so that was kind of a surprise, because even though it's hot weather, I mean, during the day, if you take a shower and it's not hot water, it's not a big deal. But if it's in the evening and you want to take a shower, it can be cold. I mean, it can, it feels cold because it's just kind of cold water coming out. So, that was an adjustment. But during the time that I've been here, there's just been all kinds of things that are very, very different from America. Things I'm used to. And, but as far as like pros and cons go, some of the pros of America is that you can get just about anything in America. I mean, almost anything you can think of, you can get. And most anything that you need, you can get, in your own town. I mean, I'm not saying that you can get every single thing under the sun, but most things, unless you live in a really rural area or something, you can get most everything you need, at Walmart or something. And so I was surprised when I first came here that, I needed a coffee maker because I'm a huge coffee drinker. I mean, coffee is like one of my major loves in life. I love coffee so much. So I had to get a coffee maker. Well, here they don't use coffee makers. Most people, the majority of the people here do not use coffee makers. They use just a little thing they heat, it's like a little hot water pot. You put water in it, you heat it up, and they drink instant coffee here. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I had to go to a mall. And luckily, because the first place I was staying at when I first moved here was Bangkok. Or, a little area outside of Bangkok, but it's still considered that area. So anyway, there were malls and things like that there. It's a bigger city. And so I had to go to the mall. And I finally find this one department store in the mall that had like an appliance section, with small appliances. I'm like searching and searching, and I find one coffee maker. One. And I mean, literally, it was the only coffee maker they sold. Because it just is not a thing here, or at least it wasn't. I think it's become a little bit more of a thing here, but you still can't go in town. Like if I need a new coffee maker, I have to order it online. I cannot just go into town and buy a new one, because there's not any. So, that was a big adjustment. So that's like one of the major pros of America, is that you can get just about anything you need there. But here, it's like finding things that I need, that, things that I'm used to having, is a lot trickier. And fortunately, over the years of being here, they have gotten more and more things that when I first got here, I could not find at all, anywhere. Like clothes and shoes. I'm a larger person. I mean, Thai people are very petite. They're very small build people. Very small, small feet, small build. And so here's this larger sized person, trying to find clothes and shoes. And I wear a size 11 in US sizes and 43 European size in my shoes. Yeah, right. Nope. Couldn't find those here. And I mean, I literally had to have people in America send me clothes and shoes because I needed new clothes and shoes and could not find anything here that would fit me. And luckily that has changed. Thank goodness it's changed. Now I'm able to find some things that are in my size, but even still, I order them from a place called Lazada. It's an online place, that you can order stuff from. And luckily now they have, way more selection than they did when I first moved here. So I'm able to order clothes and stuff, but most of them come from China. I mean, I've been lucky to find a few things that were actually here in Bangkok. I mean, most of the stuff I order is in the Bangkok area, which is like 12 hours away from where I live now. So I order it on Lazada, and then they deliver it to me. So, so I have found some clothes and finally found some shoes, like the shoes I wear for riding my bicycle. They're kind of like fake Converse sneakers, and I love them. And I actually had to order them in men's sizes, because in women's sizes they don't go up big enough to fit my feet. And you know, some of the clothes I did find recently, because my clothes were wearing out. I mean, it was like the stuff I was wearing that had been sent to me from the States was finally wearing out, because I was wearing them all the time, you know. And most of the stuff that was sent to me was either from thrift shops or Walmart, you know, so it wasn't like high quality stuff or anything, which is fine. You know, I'm not somebody who cares about that kind of stuff. It's like, if I like something and it's comfortable, I don't care where it came from or how much it cost. So, so yeah, I needed to order some clothes recently, and so I luckily found shorts and like these little tops and stuff on Lazada, which I was so glad for. So it's getting better, but it's still, there are still certain things that I wish that I could get that I just can't get here. I mean, like recently I had a friend of mine, she had something that she needed to FedEx to me from America. And I asked her, I said, could you please throw in some little packets of ranch dressing mix in the FedEx, please? Because I can't find ranch dressing here. I cannot believe that ranch dressing doesn't exist. And there's been a couple of times that I was in a store that actually had some bottles that said ranch dressing, and I was so excited. Brought it home, poured it on my salad, and I'm like, this is not ranch dressing. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't ranch dressing. It was really sweet tasting, and just, it wasn't ranch. And so I begged her to please send some, so she sent me 4 little packets of the ranch dressing mix, because I really missed that, you know. And for a long time I couldn't get beef. Nobody sells beef here, and I'm a big beef eater. I love hamburgers and I love steak, and I don't mean to offend anybody if you're like vegan or, you know, vegetarian or anything, but I am a carnivore. Yes, I like meat and I love beef, but they just didn't sell it here. Finally, there's one lady, I'm only aware of this one lady who sells beef twice a week at the market up the street. There's a market that's open on Wednesdays and Saturday mornings, and just in the morning. And so if I want beef, I have to get up and get over there early in the morning so I can get some. And it's like going to a butcher shop. So it's not like you don't go in there and there's like packaged, you know, ground beef and all that stuff. No, no, no. It's not like that at all. I mean, literally, she's got a table sitting up outside with these big slabs of meat on there, and you just tell her what you want, and then she cuts it, you know, however much you want, and then sticks it in a bag and hands it to you. That's it. And so when I want to make hamburgers, I have to go up there and get a slab of meat. I have to come home and chop it up into little small bits and then put it in a chopper and make my own ground beef, because they don't sell it here. So, but there is a bread store in town that actually does make phenomenal hamburger buns, because they make pork burgers here. I just can't do. I've tried doing pork burgers, and it's just like I have to have a beef burger. I'm sorry. So I just can't do the pork burgers. But they sell some wonderful hamburger buns. So I'm so thankful that that store opened up. Because for a long time, You couldn't get anything like that here. It just doesn't exist, you know. So, you know, definitely, you know, the pros of America are things that you can get that you can't get here, which is definitely one of the cons here. But some of the cons, or the pros, let me say that again. Some of the pros of living here is it's incredibly beautiful. Thailand is an amazingly beautiful place. And if you happen to be like me and you love tropical weather and you love palm trees and the ocean and stuff like that, it is phenomenal. It is so beautiful. And the people are so wonderful. I mean, I've just met some really wonderful people here. They're so friendly. And Thailand is known as the land of smiles because these people are just, the majority of them are very happy people, and they're always smiling, and they always, you know, as soon as you look at them, you know, they smile at you, and you know, and it's wonderful. I mean, very kind people. And one of the biggest pros living here is the cost of living. Oh my gosh, the cost of living here is fantastic. Man, my dream all my life was to live in a tropical place near the beach. I don't care if I live on the beach. That's not a big deal to me, but you know, living near a beach and, you know, living in a place with palm trees and all that stuff, that would never happen for me in America. It just wouldn't. I mean, unless I got lucky and won the lottery, or just happened to get really lucky that some really kind and generous person happened to have like a little guest house near the beach or something that just said, oh, you know what, I don't need money, so you can just live there for free or something. It just would not happen. It would not happen. And here, it's possible. And I live right now, you know, I can get on my bicycle and probably be at the beach in like 10 minutes or less from where I live. And the place I lived at before I moved in here, I was literally like 2 minutes walking to the beach. I mean, the house I was living in, I could go out the back gate and walk back, you know, through the little soy is what it's called. They're like little side street kind of things, where like neighborhoods, you know. And there was like a little soy back there, and I could just walk right down back there, and I'd be at the beach in like 2 minutes walking. But yeah, it's incredible, and it's beautiful. And this little town that I'm in, I mean, it's a smaller town, which is wonderful too, because I don't really, you know, I'm not into living in some big, you know, chaotic city with all kinds of stuff going on and stuff. I mean, yeah, when I lived in Bangkok, it was exciting, and it was just like wild. It was wild. Because, I mean, it was so new, you know, I'd never been out of the country before, and Bangkok was definitely an experience. I mean, if you've ever seen any of, like, the Hangover movies, I think it was Hangover 2, was it Hangover 2? I think it was, that they come to Bangkok, they come to Thailand in that movie, and they really filmed it here in Thailand. And it'll give you a good idea, you know, of like, it's wild, it's crazy in Bangkok, it's wild. But it was exciting. I mean, I did enjoy living there, but I do prefer the more laid back, peaceful, you know, not so crazy kind of place like this. I mean, just where I'm at now, I love it here. I just absolutely love it. because it's not some big tourist town, although I admit, since I've been here, because I've lived in this town for 8 years out of the 10 years that I've been here, and this particular little town, over the years, has gotten more and more tourists. More people are finding out about this place, which, I mean, I guess it's good as far as, it helps the economy here, and it, it helps the people, the locals. It helps them out when tourists come here and they're spending their money here. So that's a plus. But, it's like, oh, this is our private little place, like, we don't want it to become too overrun because, I say we, it's like me and a couple of the other foreigners that I know, but, it's like, we like that it's not some big, it's not a big touristy town, like Krabi and, Pattaya and places like that, Koh Samui, some of these bigger touristy areas. But yeah, it's definitely, I love it. I love this place so much. I feel myself getting like emotional about it because I really do. It's so, I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting to get like teary-eyed, but it really is just, it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And I love that here, I don't have a car, I have a bicycle, and because my town is small, I'm able to go where I need to go on my bicycle, and I'm able to pretty much do whatever I need to do, and I don't have to have a car. And that's the other thing. This is another major pro of living here, is like, we have to have, people here, we all have to have water delivered, drinking water. And so, since I don't have a car, I can't just go to the place and buy water jugs and bring them home. And there are water trucks that come by, that have like bottled water. They have the big jugs of water, and they have all this different stuff. And then there's some of the little shops in town also sell the jugs of water. And so there's a place that I go to right up the road. It's where I go get my ice practically every day, because I have to buy my ice as well. So then I can go and tell those people that I get the ice from to deliver the water jugs here for me. And usually, they'll show up just, usually within like a half an hour or something after I've been up there. And they just come right to my door and they deliver my big water jugs, and, that's it. And I don't have to worry about it. And it's so wonderful. I love all the little shops around, because they're all locally owned, and so most of the places around here, with the exception of like 7-Eleven and Tesco, there's like a little small Tesco in town, and then we have 7-Elevens all over the place. But, other than those places, most everything is locally owned and operated. And so, it's like families run these places, and, they're just little businesses that sell, most of the shops sell pretty much the same things, but I can get everything I need. And then right up the street is the little market where I can go and buy vegetables and things like that. And then there's a little store in town right up the road that I get a lot of my meat from, which is called CP Mart. So it's like an actual store, but it's very tiny. But they sell like fresh meats and stuff. So I usually do go there to get like chicken or pork. But most everything is locally owned and run, just these little Thai families that own these places and run them, and it's really neat, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to compare it to Mayberry, you know, like Mayberry RFD or whatever, you know, Mayberry Andy Griffith. But it's kind of similar, you know, it's like little small town. Everybody knows everybody, kind of, you know, sort of. I mean, not really. I mean, not everybody knows everybody, but I think most Thai people probably do know the majority of the people around in town. Because a lot of these, you know, they have big families. Thai families are usually pretty big. So, you know, it's like a lot of these people that live around me, they're all related to each other, you know. So, I don't know, it's just really, it's cool. It's really cool. And so, I don't know, I just really like it. I really love it. I love it here. It's a very warm and welcoming place. You know, not to say that it's perfect, because, you know, I don't think there's going to be any place that's perfect, but this is definitely up there on my list of, you know, being pretty darn close to it, because I don't know, it's a good feeling. The place makes me feel good. It makes me happy. I enjoy going out, riding my bike around, and, you know, feeling connected to this place. It's great. So yeah, that's definitely, you know, there's a lot of pros. There's a lot of pros to being here. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, some of the cons, I guess, is the fact that no matter how hard I've tried to learn this language, I've just not been able to. I really did try many times and just never had luck learning it. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that me being Southern, I mean, as it is, being a Southerner, you know, I don't talk right. You know, I don't say words the same way that a lot of people do, because, you know, I was born and raised in the South. So I don't know if that makes any difference, of me, you know, having a harder time, because I've tried to learn Thai words. Like a Thai person would tell me, you know, pronounce a word to me. So I'm hearing them, I'm looking at them, I'm hearing how they're saying it, and then I repeat it back to them exactly the way I heard it. You know, I'm like, this is how I heard it, and then I say it, and they look at me and go, no. You know, it's like, no, that's not right. And I'm like, that's exactly how I heard it. But I don't know, it's just, it's a hard language for me. Some people might find it easy, but I find it extremely hard. So that's one of the downsides, is that, you know, I can't communicate with people the way I'd like to. You know, I do know some words and I know how to say, you know, certain things, but I can't hold a conversation. And sometimes I get into a situation where I'm like, I need to ask about something, and I can't seem to get through, you know, to the person that I'm trying to, like, you know, do hand gestures and stuff to try to say, this is what I'm looking for and whatever. So I get into a habit, if I'm going somewhere to look about something specific and I don't know what it is, I'll try to put it on the translator thing before I leave the house, and maybe take pictures, you know, get pictures of something offline, you know, just say, so I can say, you know, do you have this or whatever. Still doesn't always work, but, you know, for the most part, I think that kind of helps. But I don't know. There's definitely a lot of, you know, pros and cons to both places. But, you know, the biggest thing is that, I mean, it's so affordable to live here. And there's just no way that I could ever have the kind of place I live in. I mean, I do have a video that I did. It was a house tour of this house. So check that out if you want to see it, if you haven't seen it. So it's just a little tiny house that I live in, but I absolutely love it. I just love this house. I love it so much. But even something like this, I mean, I can't even imagine what it would cost me in America to have something like this as close to the beach as I am. I mean, no, I can't see the beach from where I live, now. And so, you know, like I said, it might take me 10 minutes or something on my bicycle to get there. So it's not far. But to live even this close, I can't imagine what this would cost me in America. And it's so much more affordable here. And I mean, you know, recently the prices for things have gone up here, just like it is everywhere, you know, at this current time that I'm doing this video in 2022. And so, you know, but even still, it's still so much more affordable. And it's so nice too, because it's like when you go to the market and you want to get vegetables, I mean, these are fresh vegetables out of these people's gardens. You know, these people have, like, you know, gardens and things that they sell these vegetables, so they're fresh vegetables. And you can go and buy, you know, fresh meats. I mean, I've gone to some of these places that have, like, chickens, like these whole chickens sitting out on a table, and some of them are still warm. I mean, these chickens were literally, you know, caught that morning, and they're right there. And eggs, you know, fresh eggs. It's really amazing. It really is. And I am going to do some videos. I asked people to please comment when I did my last video. I was like, please comment and let me know what kind of things you're interested in seeing. And people do want to see videos of me around town, because I said, you know, hey, I really want to start making some videos going into some of the shops so you can see, you know, what they sell here and what the shops are like here, and, you know, maybe possibly get some video riding around on my bike so you can see things, you know, around town too. I'm not sure if that's going to work out, just because I don't know if it's going to be too shaky on the bike. It might be, but I'll still try to, you know, if it's too shaky riding the bike, I'll try to just, like, get some video walking around in places, you know, so you can kind of get an idea. But so I am going to do that, because I think it would be a lot of fun. I think some people will enjoy it. It might not be for everybody, because it's not going to be typical ASMR, you know. It's not going to be real quiet and stuff. I mean, I'll do the best I can, but if I'm out in public and there's traffic and stuff, it's definitely not going to be quiet. Especially because, I mean, here, the majority of the people drive scooters, you know. So they have motorbikes here. That's the main mode of transportation here. So there's lots of, you know, as Mary on Southern ASMR sounds, and Everyday Mary says, you know, the wing wing bike, you know, wing 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 wing. So you hear that a lot here. But yeah, it's a different way of life. It's definitely a different way of life, but I've gotten so used to it now that honestly, it's like I can't imagine myself going back to the States. And that will be a culture shock. Even though I was born and raised in America and lived the majority of my life there, I can't really imagine going back to that way of living anymore, because I've gotten so used to this way of life here and so comfortable with it. Like, I love the fact that I go ride my bike up the street, get ice, and have them deliver water to me. You know, just little things like that. You know, just, I don't know, there's just something, I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to describe it. But it just, I don't know. I love this way of life. I love it. It's become a part of me. And the people have become a part of me. And I'm getting teary-eyed again. Yeah, I wasn't planning on this. I'm sorry. I get emotional though, because I'm very sensitive to things, and you know, things that touch me or move me will definitely make me get emotional. And I get this way because I'm talking about something that I feel very passionate about right now, and this country and these people and this way of life I'm very passionate about. So anyway, I'm sure I'll probably think of 100 other things that I could have said. Well, why didn't you talk about this or that? And maybe I'll do another video, another day of me talking about pros and cons or whatever, because I'm sure there's tons more that I could tell you. But those are some of the highlights anyway of just, I don't know. It's a great place. And I really do love it. And I'm hoping that maybe I'm going to go over and find out, I don't know if it'll be open tomorrow or not, but the little pet store up the street that I've been going to recently, the guy that works in there, he's really nice, and he actually ordered my cat litter, because if you've seen any of my past videos where I've talked about the cat litter that I buy, that I absolutely love. It's like the greatest cat litter in the whole world. It smells like it's mocha scented. In one of my videos, I think it was my house tour video, it's like it's either coffee scented, espresso, or mocha, something like that. It's mocha. And I couldn't get it anywhere except for way in the far end of town. So I'd have to ride my bike, like it's around, I think it's like 6 or 7 miles, something like that. Maybe even a little, I don't know, it's about 6 or 7 miles round trip for me to ride my bike into town to go to A1, the mall, as I call it. It's not a mall. It's another story. But anyway, I'd have to go all the way there to get this particular cat litter and then lug it back on my bike. And whenever they had, more than one bag in stock, I would get like 2 bags of this stuff, and it weighs like 20 pounds or something. I don't even know what it weighs. It's a lot, plus all the other stuff I was getting, because I do my shopping on my bike. So, but I asked this guy up the street, I took in an empty bag, and I showed him the empty cat litter bag, and I said, can you get this? And he did. He ordered it. He said, yeah, I'll get it for you. So he ordered it, and now he sells it right up the street. So now all I have to do is go right up the road here and buy the cat litter that I like. He charges a little bit more, but it's like I'd rather pay him the little bit more and have the convenience of getting it right here, rather than having to go all the way into town to save a few, Thai baht, and then lug it back on the bike. So I'm just so glad. And I've been buying that's where I bought the cat toys and stuff that I got recently for the cats and stuff. And I went in there the other day to get something, and he was showing me these 2 little kittens that he had in the back. Oh my God. They were adorable. Oh my gosh. And this one little kitten was this little white kitten that reminds me of one of the cats I used to have that I don't have anymore, but as far as I know she's still alive, but someone else has her. But it reminded me of her, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it was so cute. So I'm going to go up and ask him if he'll let me come in and do a video in the little pet store. It's a very small, tiny, tiny little pet store, but he's recently redone it and fixed it up and everything. He's got more stuff in there now than what used to be sold in there. So I'm going to see if he'll let me record a video in there, and hopefully you'll enjoy watching that. So anyway, I'm going to go because little Lightning, the little orange kitty that I adopted that lives outside, but he comes in and out when he wants to anyway, I think he might want to go out. So, I should probably go. And I've been rambling for quite a while now. So but I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoy doing requested videos. And so I was really happy that this was requested. And there's a couple of other ones that were also requested. So I'm going to try to work on those. Like one being, the bike riding and going into the shops and stuff like that. So I'm glad that people are saying, yeah, I want to see that, because I think it would be a lot of fun. So anyway, thank you very much for being here and for watching, and I hope that I will see you again really soon. Bye.